Hey, folks, it's Dave Ramsey. Let me ask you something right off the bat. How many of you feel like your money is slipping through your fingers? You work hard, maybe even put in some extra hours, but at the end of the month, it seems like you've got nothing to show for it.
Bills pile up, credit card statements keep coming, and you're just left feeling like you're on a treadmill running faster and faster but getting nowhere.
Wow.
I'm here to tell you that doesn't have to be your reality. You don't have to live like that. You don't have to let money control you. It's time to take control of your financial life and develop the habit of smart spending. Now, I know it sounds easier said than done, but the truth is, getting your finances under control is one of the most freeing things you can do for yourself. And I'm going to show you how.
The first step is realizing that the problem isn't that you don't make enough money.
No,
It's that you haven't learned how to manage the money you have. Smart spending isn't about being cheap. It's not about never treating yourself or living in misery. No, it's about being intentional with your money. Every dollar has a purpose, and every purchase you make should bring you closer to your goals. It's about saying no to the things that don't matter and saying yes to the things that will get you closer to financial freedom. Now, I get it. We live in a world where everyone is telling you to spend. Commercials, social media influencers, and even your friends will make you feel like you need the latest gadget, the flashiest car, or the trendiest clothes. But I'm here to tell you that it's all smoke and mirrors. You don't need any of that to live a fulfilled life. In fact, all that stuff can weigh you down. It can put you deeper into debt and further away from the financial freedom you deserve.
But let's take a step back and think about what smart spending really means. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about making thoughtful decisions.
When you learn how to spend intentionally, you stop being a slave to your impulses and start becoming the master of your money.
You take back control. And that's what I want for you today. I want you to walk away from this conversation, not just with a list of tips, but with a renewed sense of power over your finances.
Because here's the thing. When you develop the habit of smart spending, you'll start seeing changes in every area of your life. You'll feel less stressed, less anxious, and more in control. And here's the best part. You'll start building wealth.
Yes, I said it. You'll actually start building wealth, and it's not as hard as it sounds. You just need to know how to manage what you've got.
So let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, and start changing the way we think about money, because your financial freedom starts now. All right, now let's get into the meat of it. We've got to talk about what smart spending actually is. You know, too many people have this misconception that spending smart means pinching pennies or living like you're broke.
That's not it at all. Smart spending doesn't mean cutting out all the things you enjoy. It's about making sure every single dollar you spend has a purpose. It's about prioritizing what truly matters in your life and making sure your money aligns with those priorities.
That's where most people miss the mark. They end up spending on things that bring short-term pleasure or fill an immediate desire. But in the end, they're left with nothing but regret and a pile of bills.
Now, here's the truth. If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, if you want to get out of debt, if you want to take control of your financial future, you've got to stop treating money like it's a free-for-all.
Money is a tool, and when you use it correctly, it works for you. But when you're careless with it, it controls you. Think about it. How many of us have been there? We get our paycheck, and before we even blink, it's gone. The rent, the utilities, the car payment, the dining out, the impulse buys. Suddenly, we're left wondering, where did it all go? And then we're in this vicious cycle where we're working harder just to stay afloat, but we're never really getting ahead.
But let me tell you something. It doesn't have to be this way. And it starts with a simple shift in mindset. You need to stop thinking of spending as a reaction to your emotions or circumstances.
It's not about what feels good in the moment. Smart spending is a mindset, and it's about being intentional with every dollar you earn. You see, your money should be a reflection of what you value most in life. So ask yourself, Are your current spending habits aligning with your long-term goals? Are you putting your money where your heart really is, or are you spending it on things that ultimately won't matter in the long run? Take a moment and think about that. Because when you start to spend smart, you begin to make decisions that move you closer to the things that truly matter. You begin to see money as a tool to build your future, not something to just get by with day. And it starts with understanding this one crucial point. Smart spending isn't about doing without, it's about doing with intention. It's about choosing where your dollars go based on your goals, your dreams, and your values.
For example, if you're in debt, spending smart means taking a hard look at where your money is going and being honest about what's really important.
Maybe it means cutting out that daily coffee shop run and redirecting that money toward paying off your credit card. Or maybe it means choosing a smaller car that's more affordable so you can put more into your savings or pay off your student loans faster. These aren't sacrifices. They're investments in your future.
They're choices that will pay off in ways that matter far more than any fleeting enjoyment from the latest gadget or luxury item.
And here's the key. When you learn to make these decisions, when you stop throwing money away on things that don't serve you, that's when your financial life will start to change. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's not always easy. But I promise you, it's worth it. Because once you've mastered smart spending, you'll start to feel the weight lifting off your shoulders. You'll start to experience what true financial freedom feels like. And that, my friend, is something money can't buy. But smart spending, that's the first step to getting there. So let's take this journey together. Let's make sure every dollar you spend is working for you, not against you. And by the time we're done, you'll have a blueprint for living a life free from debt, free from financial stress, and free to live the life you were meant to live. Now that we've covered what smart spending is all about, it's time to dive into the principles that will help you put this into action in your everyday life. I want you to really pay attention here because these principles are the foundation of turning your financial situation around. This is where the rubber meets the road, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. These principles will challenge you, but if you stick with them, they will change your life. Let's start with the most important one. You've got to get rid of your debt.
Now, I know some of you are thinking, Dave, you don't understand. I have a lot of debt. I've got credit card bills, student loans, maybe even a car payment. How can I even think about spending smart when I'm buried under all this debt?
Well, I get it. I really do. I've been there. And let me tell you something. The biggest barrier to smart spending isn't how much you make. It's how much you make. It's how much you owe.
Debt is a weight around your neck that drags you down. It eats away at your income and forces you to make financial decisions out of fear and stress.
But here's the truth. Debt is the enemy of smart spending. When you owe money, it's like you're working for your creditors, not for yourself. And I don't care if it's a student loan, a car loan, or credit card debt. As long as you're in debt, you're not free to make smart decisions with your money. You're in survival mode. That's why the first thing you need to do is get rid of that debt. Start with the smallest balance. Call it the smallest balance. Call it the debt snowball method and knock it out.
I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to take discipline, but it's the single most powerful thing you can do to free yourself up for smarter spending. Once you're free from the chains of debt, you'll be amazed at how much more control you have over your money. Now let's talk about the next principle. You need a budget. And I'm not talking about some loose, wishy-washy budget that you kind of stick to. I'm talking about a real, concrete, written down plan for every dollar you make.
A budget is not a restriction. It's a plan for freedom.
Think about it this way. If you don't have a budget, it's like you're sailing a ship without a rudder. You might be going somewhere, but you're probably not going to like where you end up.
You need a plan. A budget tells your money where to go rather than wondering where it went. And here's the beauty of it. When you stick to your budget, your money is no longer in charge of you. You're in charge of your money. But the key here is being intentional. You have to sit down every month, look at your income, and allocate every single dollar. There's no guessing, no hoping. You decide exactly how much goes to your rent, to your utilities, to your grocery bills, and yes, even to your fund money. Smart spending means you're making intentional decisions about how you spend your money, not letting your money decide for you. And let me tell you something else. You need to stop buying stuff you don't need. That's one of the biggest traps people fall into. We live in a culture that tells us that the more we have, the better we are. But I'm here to tell you that the opposite is true. You don't need that new car. You don't need the latest phone. And you sure don't need to go on that fancy vacation if you're drowning in debt. You need to ask yourself this simple question every time you make a purchase. Is this truly a need, or is it a want that's just trying to fill an emotional hole?
Too many people are buying things to keep up with the Joneses, to impress people they don't even like, and in the process, they're drowning in debt. Smart spending means being disciplined enough to say no to those things, especially when they're just going to put you further into debt.
Now, this next one is key. Pay yourself first. This might sound a little counterintuitive when you're working hard to pay off debt, but trust me, this will change the way you approach money.
When you budget, make sure you're setting aside a percentage for savings and investment right from the start. You're not saving what's left over. You're paying yourself first. Start by building an emergency fund, just a small one at first. About $1,000.
You can do that. And then once your emergency fund is in place, you can start saving for retirement, for your kids' education, for the future. This is the difference between living paycheck to paycheck and building real wealth.
But remember, the goal isn't to save for the sake of saving. It's to give you the freedom to make smart decisions, knowing you've got a cushion for the unexpected. Emergencies will happen, folks.
A car will break down. The roof will leak. But when you're living smart and you've got an emergency fund, those little bumps in the road don't derail your entire financial plan. That's true peace of mind.
And finally, here's something I want you to remember. Spending smart doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means prioritizing what's important and cutting out what's not. It's about enjoying life, but doing it in a way that moves you closer to your long-term goals.
You don't have to live like a miser to be financially free, but you do have to be intentional with your money. You've got to make every dollar count. Because when you spend smart, you get to enjoy the things that truly matter without feeling the weight of debt or the anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck. So get serious about these principles, and I promise you the results will be worth it. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what you do with the money you've got. And when you start spending smart, you'll see how much more you can do. All right. Now that we've talked about the principles of smart spending and why they're so important, let's shift gears and get into the action steps. I want to make sure you're not just walking away from this conversation with good ideas, but with a clear plan that you can actually put into place today. Because here's the thing. Success isn't built on knowledge. It's built on action. And the longer you sit on the sidelines, the longer it's going to take to achieve the freedom you're after. So it's time to get to work. First things first, you've got to create a budget. That's right. Grab a pen, get a piece of paper, and make a list. I don't care how tech savvy you are. There's something about writing it down that makes it real. Budget is the blueprint for your financial future. It's not something that's restrictive like a diet. No, a budget is your roadmap to freedom. And listen to me when I say this. If you don't tell your money where to go, it will disappear. It's as simple as that. I want you to take a look at everything you've got coming in, everything you've got going out. Start with the basics, your rent, utilities, food, transportation, and then get serious about the extra. How much are you really spending on coffee each month? What about dining out? Subscriptions, or that impulse buys every time you walk into a store. When you write it all down, you'll be shocked at how much you're throwing away on things you don't even need. Cutting out those non-essential expenses is where the magic happens. I want you to ask yourself this question every time you make a purchase. Is this helping me reach my goals, or is it keeping me stuck? Or the answer is no, then you know what to do.
Now, once you've got your budget in place, it's time to take action on that debt. You cannot afford to waste any more time carrying around the burden of debt. If you're serious about living a life free from financial stress, you need to tackle your debt head on.
Start with the smallest balance and get that thing out of the way. That's right. The smallest debt first. Pay it off. Eliminate it. And once that debt is gone, you take all that money you were putting toward that debt and roll it over to the next smallest balance. You keep going, snowballing. And before you know it, you're making huge progress. That's the power of momentum. And here's something I want you to remember. This is about discipline. It's about focus. And it's about commitment. You can't half-step your way to debt freedom. You've got to give it everything. But here's the catch. It's not just about paying off debt. It's about changing your mindset around money. You've got to learn how to think long term. Every time you make a purchase, ask yourself, will this help me reach my financial goals? If it won't, don't make the purchase.
Now, I know this can be tough, especially when you're used to spending freely, but this is where discipline comes in. You've got to be willing to make the hard choices today for a better tomorrow. Maybe that means saying no to a night out with friends, or skipping the new car, or even canceling that gym membership you don't use. It's okay to make these sacrifices because they're investments in your future.
I promise you, down the road, when you're debt free, when your savings account is growing, when you have the financial freedom to do what you want, you'll look back at these sacrifices and realize they were worth every single penny. Now, while you're working on getting rid of debt and sticking to that budget, don't forget the importance of building an emergency fund. You need a financial cushion. Life is unpredictable. Cars break down. Medical bills pop up. The roof leaks. You've got to be prepared for the unexpected. Start small. A goal of $1,000 for your emergency fund is a great place to begin. Once that's in place, you can shift your focus to saving for bigger goals. Your retirement, your kids' education, a down payment on a house. But it all starts with having that safety net in place so that when the unexpected happens, you're not derailed. You're not relying on credit cards or loans to bail you out. You're able to handle it because you've been intentional about saving. But let me tell you, building wealth isn't just about saving. It's also about growing your income. While you're cutting back on unnecessary expenses and focusing on paying off debt, think about how you can increase your income. Maybe it's taking on a part-time job, starting a side hustle, or finding ways to make money doing something you love. The more you can increase your income, the faster you'll get out of debt, and the faster you'll reach your financial goal. When you start making more money, you can put even more toward paying off debt or building your emergency fund. And when you stop living paycheck to paycheck, you'll be amazed at the peace of mind it brings. No more anxiety over bills. No more wondering if you'll have enough to make it to the end of the month. Just pure, unshakable confidence in your financial situation. And here's the kicker. You have to stick with it. This isn't a quick fix. It's not a magic pill. Building wealth and financial freedom takes time, but it's worth every bit of effort. There will be setbacks, and there will be temptations to fall back into old habits. But don't let that stop you. I don't care how long it takes. Stay the course. Keep making the smart choices. Keep building that emergency fund, paying off debt, and investing for the future. And I promise you, over time, you'll start seeing the results. You'll start feeling the freedom that comes with being in control of your finances, and there's nothing like it. So, are you ready? Are you ready to take control of your financial future? Because it all starts with the decisions you make today. No one's going to do this for you. It's on you to take these steps, to make the sacrifices, to stick with it even when it's tough. But when you do, when you build these habits, when you start making every dollar work for you, you'll be amazed at how quickly things can change. The future you've dreamed of is possible, but it's up to you to make it happen. So let's get started.
All right. You've made the decision.
You've created a budget You've started attacking that debt. You're saving and building an emergency fund, and you've got a plan to grow your income. But here's the thing. You can't stop now. This isn't a sprint. It's a marathon. And just like any big goal in life, the hardest part often comes after the initial excitement wears off. You've gotten started, but now we've got to keep the momentum going. You see, success with money isn't about some big breakthrough or one lucky moment. It's about the consistent everyday choices you make over and over again that add up to big results.
And those results,
They don't come by accident. They come through discipline, patience, and staying the course, no matter what.
but I know how tough this journey can be. It's easy to get discouraged, especially when you don't see instant results or when life throws those curveballs like unexpected bills or a financial emergency you didn't see coming.
It happens to all of us, and you might be tempted to throw in the towel. Maybe you think, what's the point? This is hard. I'm never going to get out of debt. I'm never going to get out of debt. I'll never be able to save enough. But I want to tell you something right now. You've got to fight that voice of doubt. That's the voice of defeat, the voice that wants to keep you stuck in that cycle of financial chaos. Don't listen to it. You are capable of so much more. And I'm here to remind you that no matter what, you can win with money. It's not about how much you make. It's about what you do with what you've got. And if you stick with the plan, I promise you, the results will come. But here's the key. You have to be persistent. Success in this financial journey is not about doing things perfectly. It's about doing things consistently. Some days you'll feel like you're on top of the world, and other days you'll feel like you're stuck in the mud. But I'm telling you, those small, consistent steps are what will eventually carry you across the finish line. You need to set your sights on the bigger picture and remind yourself why you started this journey in the first place. What is it that you're working toward? Is it debt freedom? Is it saving for your kids' college education? Is it building wealth so you can retire early and live life on your own terms? Whatever it is, keep your eyes on that goal. Let it fuel you when times get tough, because it's those long-term rewards that will make every sacrifice you make today worth it. And you know what? Life doesn't stop happening just because you're working on your finances. There will be distractions, temptations, and setbacks along the way. People will try to convince you to buy the latest gadget, take that vacation, or live in the now and worry about the future later.
But I'm telling you, this is your chance to break the cycle. You've got to stick to your plan, even when the world around you is telling you to do something different.
If you stay focused, if you stay disciplined, you'll reach the place where those outside pressures won't have a grip on you anymore. You'll be able to look back and say, I chose a different path. I chose to put my money toward the things that matter most. And that, my friend, is where the real freedom is. That's where you get to live life without the weight of debt, without the constant worry of money, and with the confidence that you're in control of your future. So how do you stay on track? Well, the first thing is review your budget regularly. This isn't a one and done deal. Your life changes. Your expenses change. Your income might change. So you need to adjust your budget regularly to reflect that.
Don't let your budget become an afterthought.
Make it a habit to sit down and track where your money is going. Make adjustments as needed and keep moving forward.
You need to know exactly where every dollar is going, because when you do, you'll know you're making intentional choices with your money. The next thing.
Find a community of people who will support you. Financial freedom is hard to do alone. Surround yourself with like-minded people who will encourage you, hold you accountable, and cheer you on when things get tough.
Get plugged into a group, whether it's a class, a group of friends, or even online where you can talk about your goals, share your progress, and keep each other motivated. I can't stress enough how powerful it is to have people in your corner who understand what you're going through and are walking that same path. We all need accountability, and we all need encouragement, especially when the road gets rough. And let me say something else. Celebrate your victories, big and small, as you pay off each debt, no matter how small. Celebrate that win. Take a moment to give yourself credit for the hard work you've done.
Every time you hit a milestone, whether it's paying off a credit card, hitting your savings goal, or even just sticking to your budget for a month, take the time to acknowledge that progress. These victories are what will keep you going. They'll remind you that you're making real progress toward the life you want. And I promise you, when you look back, you'll see just how far you've come.
Now, here's the final part of staying the course. Don't ever stop learning. This financial journey is ongoing. Keep reading, keep learning, keep growing. There are always new strategies to learn, new tools to use, and better ways to manage your money. It's not about perfection, but it's about continually getting better. The more you learn, the more empowered you'll become to make even smarter decisions with your money. Whether you're reading books, listening to podcasts, attending workshops, or just talking to people who have been where you are, keep seeking out knowledge. It will fuel your drive and help you get even further down the path to financial freedom. And finally, remember this. You can do this. It won't be easy. There will be tough days. There will be moments when you feel like quitting, but you don't, because you know what's at stake. You know that on the other side of this, there's a life of financial peace, a life where you're not controlled by debt, where you're not stressed about money, and where you have the freedom to live your life on your terms. The only thing standing between you and that life is your decision to stay the course. So stay committed, stay disciplined, keep learning, and keep pushing forward, because the life you want is right there waiting for you. It's yours for the taking. You just have to stay in the fight. And I promise you, when you do, you'll look back and be so thankful that you never gave up. All right, here we are. You've made it through the steps. You've learned the principles of smart spending. You've created a plan, and you're taking action every day to secure your financial future. But as we close today, I want to leave you with this. This isn't the end. It's just the beginning. What you've started here is the foundation of a life that is free from the chains of debt, free from the chains of debt, free from the stress of living paycheck to paycheck, and free to do the things you've always dreamed of.
Now, I know it may not feel that way right now.
You're probably still in the trenches, and some days it feels like it's just one step forward, two steps back. But I promise you, every single step you take, no matter how small it may seem, is a step toward that freedom. It's a step toward living a life that's aligned with your values, where your money works for you, not the other way around. And that, my friend, is worth every ounce of effort you put in. You might be wondering, is it really worth it? Is all this sacrifice going to pay off? And the answer is yes. Every sacrifice, every difficult decision you make today is an investment in your future. It's not about living for today. It's about living for tomorrow. And when you stay disciplined, when you keep making the right choices, when you refuse to settle for living in debt or financial chaos, you're going to see the fruits of that hard work. But you've got to be willing to stay in the game. You've got to make the decision that no matter what happens, you will not quit. The road ahead won't always be easy. There will be times when you want to give in, times when it feels easier to just swipe the card or buy the shiny new thing or take that trip you can't afford. But here's what I want you to remember. Your future self is counting on you. The decisions you make today are the seeds you're planting for the life you'll live tomorrow. Don't let those temporary temptations derail you. Don't let the quick fix of buy now, pay later steal your long-term peace of mind, because there is something so much better waiting for you on the other side. True financial freedom. And when you get there, when you're free from the burden of debt, when you've got a healthy emergency fund, when your savings are growing, when you're investing for your future, let me tell you, it's worth everything you've been through to get there. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you're in control of your finances, that your money is no longer controlling you, is unlike anything else. And it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you chose to take control. So don't let the fear of making mistakes stop you from moving forward. We all make mistakes, but the key is to learn from them and keep going. You are capable of more than you think. You have what it takes to change your financial future. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent, being intentional, and refusing to give up when things get tough. The road to financial freedom is long, and sometimes it's hard, but it is so worth it. You've got a great future ahead of you if you choose to keep walking that road. You've got dreams and goals that are within your reach. All you need to do is keep taking action. Stay focused on what's important. Keep your eyes on the prize, and never forget that you are building a better future, one decision at a time.
And you know what? You are not alone. You've got a whole community of people, myself included, cheering you on, encouraging you, and walking this path with you. You've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and you've got the tools, you've got the knowledge, and you've got the power to make this happen.
The power is in your hands. The future is yours to create.
So take a deep breath, look ahead, and know that you're on the right path. Every choice you make, every dollar you save, every debt you pay off brings you closer to the life you want to live.
I believe in you, and I know you've got this. The best is yet to come. Keep going, stay the course, and I'll see you at the finish line. Let's do this together. Let's do this together. Let's win with money and build the future of your dreams. Your financial freedom journey begins today. Let's go. All right. Now that you've got the game plan, it's time to take action. I know that the road to financial freedom isn't always smooth. There are going to be challenges along the way, whether it's dealing with unexpected bills, staying disciplined on your budget, or finding ways to stay motivated when it feels like the progress is slow. But here's the thing, you don't have to do it alone. I want to hear from you. If you're facing a specific challenge, if there's something about your financial journey that's got you stuck or frustrated, drop a comment below. Let us know what's going on. Whether it's trouble with paying off debt, sticking to your budget, or just not knowing where to start. We want to help. We'll make a video with practical solutions tailored just for you so you can get back on track and keep moving forward. Together, we'll tackle whatever obstacles are in your way. But that's not all. If you want more tips, more motivation, and more financial advice to help you win with money, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
We're posting new content all the time, packed with proven strategies, real life success stories, and expert advice to help you build wealth, get out of debt, and live life on your terms. By subscribing, you'll get access to everything you need to stay focused, stay on track, and ultimately achieve the financial freedom you've been dreaming of.
So let's do this. Let's tackle your financial struggles together and keep making progress, one step at a time. I'm here for you, and we're in this together. Don't wait. Comment below, subscribe, and let's keep moving toward your brighter financial future.